Hi, I'm Jen, the Holistic Health Boss, your functional diagnostic health practitioner and expert, and I have a question for you this week. Is it possible that maybe you are underestimating stress? Now, in our modern, fast-paced society, we have a tendency to underestimate the amount of stress we are under on a daily basis. In the work that I do with clients, one of the first things I ask them to do is redefine the word stress. And stress, the definition of stress that I introduce to them is that stress is anything that places a burden on the body, resulting in inflammation or an imbalance. Now, typically when we hear the word stress, we think of mental or emotional stress and common things such as challenges within our relationships or family, tough to deal with bosses, crappy coworkers, traffic, maybe the loss of a loved one or a friend, and trying to meet expectations and deadlines that others set for ourselves or that we set for ourselves. But stress can also be foods that you're eating that aren't right for your body or that cause inflammation. Could also show up in the form of going to bed late or getting a bad night's sleep, especially if that's happening consistently. Maybe over exercising or too intense of an exercise when the body is already under a lot of stress and depleted. Not exercising or moving your body enough regularly for its vital functions to be performing, and toxins that you can't always see, hear, or feel in the environment, as well as nutrient deficiencies that you might not be aware of, tight muscles or joints that are out of alignment, specifically within the spine that are impacting the nervous system, and traveling and then crossing different time zones. No matter what the stressor might be, the body reacts in the same way, activating what's called the sympathetic nervous system, more commonly known as our fight or flight response. Now, the fight or flight response is a brilliant but old primal instinct that was originally developed to help keep us safe from harm. Now, this mechanism was developed in order to help us deal with acute or short-term type of stress, not the low-grade kind of constant stress that we now encounter on a very frequent or daily basis. So here is the classic textbook example of this instinctual response that our body has. If you were to encounter, let's say, a lion on your lunch break, your body would activate the fight or flight response instantly, sending blood flow out to your arms and legs for a quick movement, and then up to your brain for quick thinking so that you could find a way to outrun and or outsmart the lion. You wouldn't have to think for a second about this. Your body would just react and ultimately do it. Now, isn't that brilliant, right? Well, the problem is that we don't necessarily encounter lions on our lunch break or in our daily lives at all, unless you're one of those people at the zoo or on the safari that's breaking the rules. But the body responds to our modern day stressors just the same, directing blood flow outward for quick action, leaving little resources for digestion or the vital actions needed to actually heal the body. Now, the smallest things in our daily routine can trigger the fight or flight response, resulting in a decreased ability to digest food, combat colds and the flu, and which can ultimately add up, leading to things like weight gain, hormone imbalances, low energy, poor sleep, and just generally not feeling like yourself overall on a day-to-day basis. So stuff that could be triggering the stress response in your body might be things you wouldn't even think of, such as maybe watching the news, sitting in traffic during your typical commute, even though you're enjoying your favorite podcast, and working through your lunch break on a regular basis or even infrequently. Now, we underestimate the stress response because these actions or behaviors are so common in our day-to-day routine. So in this week's video and blog, I want to help you identify if you're underestimating the daily demands of stress on your body, and then simple things that you can do to de-stress that are ultimately going to help to boost digestion and help your body to heal regularly to avoid any issues with your health or to reverse health issues you might have. So let's take a look at where you might be encountering subtle stress throughout the day without even realizing it in most cases. So let me run through some of these scenarios. Are you maybe always on the run, stacked back to back with meetings, trying to get from one place to another on time, or feel like you're always on in your job or as a parent from the moment that you wake up to the moment that you go to bed? Well, moving fast through life like this activates the fight or flight response all day long. Or maybe do you find yourself drinking your smoothie or eating breakfast on the way to work, maybe working through your lunch break, or rushing to get home to dinner at night to get it on the table, and then eating so fast to get through it so that you can clean up after and get on with the rest of your nightly routine? Well, all of these actions can induce the fight or flight response also. And then how about, do you get worked up about our political climate, maybe watching the news or scrolling Facebook or maybe your other social media outlets? Because all of these things can also elicit the fight or flight response too. So see how quickly the amount of stress that our body deals with on a daily basis can add up without you even realizing it, because again, these are common things that we tend to do in our day. Constant subtle stressors can add up really quickly throughout the day, keeping the body in that constant fight or flight mode, resulting in minimal resources to aid in digestion and healing, leaving the body ultimately depleted, and then eventually leading to a lack of energy, hormone imbalances, digestive upset, and a slew of other health issues. Now I want you to imagine maybe a red Solo cup, and for every stressor you encounter, 1 drop of water goes into your cup. If you don't do something to minimize the number of drops or to empty the cup at the end of the day, it will eventually overflow. Now we can't always control the stressors that we encounter, but we can aim to minimize them as much as possible and to empty our cup throughout the day in order to reduce the burden of stress on our body. So in order to maximize digestion and for the body to heal, you must be in a relaxed state. Typically, the only time we're in a totally relaxed state in this modern day world is when we're asleep. And that's only if you're a great sleeper. If you struggle with insomnia, then your relaxed time is drastically diminished because you're not sleeping through the night. But even a good night's sleep or a good night's rest isn't enough anymore to combat the rising number of stressors and demands our body faces on a daily basis. So to support your ideal health and weight, you want to look for opportunities to slow down in your daily life so you can empty your cup and allow the body to heal and digest. Now, here are a few ways you can easily empty your stress cup throughout the day. First is to do some deep breathing, and inhaling for 5 seconds, holding for 5 seconds, and exhaling for 7 for a couple rounds can do you wonders. Schedule breaks to get outside, maybe get some fresh air and breathe. Chew each bite of food 20 times or set down your fork in between bites in order to slow down your eating. Maybe think about creating a daily meditation, journaling, or tapping routine. And also cuddling or exchanging hugs can help to boost oxytocin hormone, which ultimately decreases your stress hormone. Now, these are all super simple acts that don't require much effort at all, but can make a big difference in your overall stress levels and health. Other actions that help to reduce the overall stress burden on your body include also eating an anti-inflammatory diet, sleeping during the hours of 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., exercising at an intensity that is right for your body, and minimizing your exposure to stress-inducing environmental toxins and chemicals. Now, lastly, I want you to start to notice how stress shows up in your body, because it is different for everyone. It could be in the form of aches and pains, skin rashes or breakouts, losing your hair, low energy, disrupted sleep, weight gain, and more. Once you get in tune with the signs of stress that your body is giving you, you can then take quick action to empty your cup by maybe doing some of the things that I've already suggested. And if you're not sure about how much stress your body might be dealing with, you can test instead of guessing by doing a dried urine total comprehensive hormone test that would look at your stress hormone cortisol as well as other sex and steroid hormones that will reveal insights about the overall burden of stress your body is under and the big picture of what might be going on. Now, if you'd like to get your hands on the right lab tests and resources to measure your body's stress burden and strategies to reduce it, then I'd like to invite you to schedule an ideal health and weight discovery session with me by clicking on the links below. I hope that you guys found that helpful and start to pay attention more to the burden of stress that your body might be under as a result so that you can have your ideal health and weight. All right, that's it. See you next week, you guys.